Sorry, I realized I probably shouldn't just stare at the screen. I noticed that there is a comment saying somebody, Trent, I have to get up at 4 a.m. so a chat now is kind of late for me. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is kind of the time that worked for me. If you can notice, I'm actually in a house right now. Oh, sorry. um, but I'll talk about all that in a second. I'm just gonna wait and see if anybody is gonna jump on and join us. Yeah, so if you do happen to come on, just say hi. I am looking at the comments. But yeah, this is my very first live, so I'm just kind of learning everything, and I am a little bit nervous if I'm being honest, but the reason I wanted to do this is because my videos right now are so far behind, even though I've been trying to put up 3 videos a week. Um, there's my mom. She's saying, hi. Hi, Mom. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I have, multiple videos going up per week, but I was traveling a lot and shot a ton of content, and so it's pretty far behind where I currently am. I'm not in Washington right now, even though the video that went up earlier today, I was in the North Cascades. Tony says, hi, Mom. So, Mom, Tony says hi. Yeah, so I am actually in Utah right now, and I'll talk a little bit about what I've been doing over the past 30 days. It was actually officially 30 days that I slept in my car every single night. And that's probably the longest I've ever gone with being consecutive sleeping in my car every single night, even though I've been doing road life on and off since the kind of summer of 2020. I think even during that period of time, I didn't, um, sorry, I don't think I stayed in my car that many consecutive nights, even during that time. And part of that was that hotels were actually quite affordable during that period of time. So mostly if I needed to like recharge something or take a shower, that was a reasonable option for me during that time. And now I have access to Planet Fitness. As a member there, I can go in and take showers, so I don't need that as much. And then I have a battery that I can charge efficiently on my alternator. So that is really helpful when I'm not working right now and just living on the road full time. I can really make that time stretch. Tonight, I will not be sleeping in my car. I'm actually visiting family, and typically that's what I do this time of year because I have typically worked 2 contracts a year. So, a couple of things coming through the comments. Mom, Tony wants to know, don't you get nervous of your daughter living alone like this? So, if you want to weigh in on that, Mom, do you get nervous? I think she'll say yes. And then Marianne's outdoor adventure. I'm loving the direction you are going and seeing you get back to the outdoors. You rock, girl. Aw, thank you. Thanks, Marianne. We've been in contact for a very long time, since sort of the start of my channel back in like 2016 or sometime around that. Maybe it was a little bit after that, but yeah. My mom says yes, but I'm getting used to it. Yeah, seems about right. But yeah, so 30 days in the car. Winter is starting to come in the north, so I did leave Washington, and in some of my upcoming videos you'll see that I traveled through Montana, and Yellowstone was kind of a big destination for me, so I did get to visit that, and I'll share that upcoming. But we were getting hit with a big snowstorm, and it is still October, obviously, so it's not really winter yet, even in areas like high mountains, but it is time where some pretty serious winter storms can start hitting, and that was definitely something that was happening. So I'm starting to migrate southward to cope with some of the winter. Yeah, it has been a long minute, Marianne. I hope you're doing well out there. So Yeah, I am sleeping in a house tonight as I start to visit some family over the next couple of months, but I am still going to be getting out and doing a ton of adventures, and hopefully that will continue through the winter. Um, and we will see kind of where that ends up going, just based on what I can make happen with this YouTube channel. I'm really trying to get my YouTube channel off the ground. I obviously have some savings to fall back on. If you're not familiar, I have been doing seasonal work for the past 3 years. That means I work summer and winter contracts, and typically during that time I either have heavily subsidized housing or free housing, and just with keeping my cost of living low but working a lot during that period of time, I'm able to save money to travel in between. And I'm hoping that I will be able to start at least taking this winter off in order to focus on some goals that I have for my health and fitness, and just to share content along the way with that. Um, yeah, Tony's just saying he's kind of concerned about safety with the nomadic life. I'll touch on that a little bit more. I know you asked my mom how she felt with it, but I think as somebody that has been out there living a nomadic life for almost the past 5 years now, um, I can definitely say that the amount of scary situations I've run into have really, really been minimal, and I don't know that they've been any more significant than anyone that's living a day-to-day life in a suburban community, making target runs and all of that kind of like normal, quote unquote, normal life stuff. It really does, a lot of it come down to situational awareness and listening to your gut instinct, getting out of situations that feel like they might be threatening, and that's going to be for anyone. I've also noticed, as someone who ends up probably interacting with unknown or stranger populations, more than people in a community that I belong to, because I don't belong to any long-term communities at this point in my life. Far more people are looking to help you if you need it, or are just kind, helpful people in general than are looking to harm you. Of course, it just takes that one person, and some of that is luck of the draw. But even to this day, with the time I spend out in the wilderness or camping alone or stealth camping at rest stops, the number one thing that I personally view as a potential threat to my health, well-being, or life is honestly car accidents. Because I spend so much time on the road, and the statistics say that car accidents are more likely to happen near your home. Um, so it's just like, I understand the fear of the unknown, but being out there, even having traveled internationally by myself for years, I just don't see that the real threat is there. I feel like it's much safer than it seems like from at home. So I would say um, it's not it's not as scary. Yeah, have I thought about traveling with a companion or like a dog that would watch over me? So I'm definitely open to traveling with human companions. It's not that I don't like doing it, it's just that other people are living their lives and going in their directions. A lot of my long-term friends have houses and careers and families. And then, of course, I meet people in seasonal work and that kind of thing. And it's just whether or not things are going to really line up, and so far they haven't. But it also does allow me some freedom with content creation to be traveling by myself, just because that is kind of like a solitary activity, and so I can tend to feel guilty or definitely make less contact with content when I'm in the presence of another person. Regarding the dog, I do love dogs, and I have had dogs in my life for long times before, but I actually, as much as dogs can provide some safety and security, they can also kind of be a little bit of a liability in that way, because you need to let them out either late at night or early in the morning, and maybe sometimes like if I want to be stealth camping, if I pull up someplace my intention is a stealth camping camp, I do not get out of the car. I stay in the car. But if I have a dog that like is needing to get out of the car, then I'm gonna have to get out of the car with the dog. And also dogs on hiking trails can actually attract animals. Specifically, I know coyotes can be very attracted to dogs, and they can try to attack dogs, and then you're kind of put in this awkward position with that. And also, they're just expensive. Like taking good care of them and getting them the health care they need is just a financial liability that I certainly do not need right now. Do I carry bear spray when hiking? Oh, and Joanne, you're not here late. I'm just blabbering on about some stuff right now. So join the party. You're not late. Um, I only carry bear spray while hiking when I'm in grizzly country. But that being said, I also don't hike alone in grizzly country. So I really don't spend a lot of time hiking in grizzly country. The only time I really carry bear spray is when I'm hanging out around camp in grizzly country, which I did do a bit recently. And so I had my bear spray at hand with me during all of that time. But even when I've encountered black bears on trail, they're easily scared off or completely disinterested. I've actually had more kind of tense run-ins with either dogs or deer. Kind of strange. And of course, bear spray could be helpful, I guess, in both of those scenarios. But usually, you're able to scare off animals pretty effectively anyway. Dorinda, great to see you back posting more videos. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really trying to be consistent, and I'm just having a lot of fun making content right now, to be honest. And even though I'm a solo traveler, it kind of feels like I have you guys with me. So it keeps me from getting lonely to make the videos. It really does. I wonder. Okay. I wonder if you track your gas mileage. I have a 2024 Forester and I get about 38 miles per gallon. I drive conservatively. Okay, 38 is really good. My car tracks it for me, and I'm usually at about 27. I think the best I've ever been was maybe at 30, but I found that I'm pretty much at 27 miles per gallon, and I feel like I drive pretty conservatively too, especially when I'm just on the road, living out of the car full time, not generally trying to get anywhere in any particular hurry. So, yeah, and I'm a sucker for the cruise control, to be honest. Yeah, so actually, I had some, if you guys have any other questions for me, go ahead and drop them in here. Get an EV. Yeah, so I always have a lot of suggestions about getting a van or changing my vehicle and stuff like that. So I'm going to address that right now. My Forester is a 2017. It is paid off, which is nice. And it is getting up there in mileage. It's over 125,000 miles, but that vehicle can run for quite a while with that. And to move to a van that is as capable as my Subaru would be very expensive. I have all-wheel drive. I'm able to put effectively good tires on it. I have a pair of snow tires, and I have a brand new pair of all-terrain or mountain tires that are proving to be very good also. And just the capabilities of being able to get back to some of these on these forest roads, or back to some of these BLM campsites or things like that, or even up the mountain roads with the amount of power that I have versus the amount of weight I'm carrying in the car is really good. And to move to a van that would be as capable of that, again, would be super, super expensive. So I know some people have suggested to me moving into like the little Ford Transits or those kinds of things, which I think those vans are super cute, but there are also significant reliability issues with those vehicles. and once you build them out as a van, they're going to be underpowered. So I've looked at that. That has been like a big appeal to me because of the aesthetic and what I could do in that, and to be able to like sit up in the car and like maybe have a little kitchen where I sit up in there. But I feel like the trade-off is not really worth it. I mean, last winter I was working in the mountains of Utah, and I had to drive up and down a road that's nicknamed Ping Pong Alley at night to get to and from work. And the road is nicknamed this because it's super windy, high mountainous road that gets iced over. And to have the power and the all-wheel drive system paired with snow tires was like what I needed to be getting to and from work. So I'm not ready to make a transition like that. There are definitely benefits of having a van that I would like, but I don't want to do that. And having a newer vehicle that I have a payment on really restricts the freedom that I have in my life. One of the ways that I'm able to travel as much as I do is that I keep my expenses low. So yeah, look into the Nissan NV 2500 and NV 3500. Yeah, I have looked into those a little bit, and I think that would probably be the best fit for my needs once I decide that I want to make that change. Yeah, it's paid for. Drive it till the wheels fall off. Exactly. And that's my plan for right now, especially since even though I'm still working seasonal jobs, and I'm hoping to make YouTube work so I can make enough money off of YouTube for the winter season, but it doesn't mean I'm, never going to go back to a seasonal job. And when I do that, I don't want all of my savings to be going into a vehicle. There are some dreams that I have that I've talked about on this channel for a really long time. Some of you may be new and you're not aware of, but it's a big dream of mine to hike the Pacific Crest Trail. If you're not familiar, it's roughly 2,500 miles, goes from the California-Mexico border to the Canadian-Washington border, and it takes about 5 months to do. And during that time, I obviously wouldn't be living in a vehicle. I would be out there camping and doing that kind of stuff. So, I am not ready to make an investment that requires me to be earning a certain, like a larger income amount every month to make a payment on a vehicle. So yeah, drive it till the wheels fall off is my plan right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little, okay. Hi Cargo Hustler from East Texas. Awesome. Have you ever decided on keeping this? Oh, yeah. Recommended keeping the Nespresso. I am keeping the Nespresso. Yeah, that's one of the big things that I wanted to come on live and actually update about, because I got so many comments about the Nespresso, and I was really grateful for everyone weighing in, and pretty much was hearing from everyone like the Marie Kondo method. It sparks joy, so keep it. And I'm keeping it. I actually went ahead and purchased some more pods. I haven't used it yet, but that is my plan, definitely. Thank you for weighing in on that also. That's really helpful. Would you ever live in a Prius? I would if I had one. No name. Great videos. Excellent job regarding video quality. Thank you so much. Emily's asking if I would ever consider creating backpacking courses for women. I pay to come learn and hike with you. Yeah, Emily, so in 2021, I was really seriously invested in becoming a backpacking guide. And I went to guide training here offered in the United States. It's not required to go to guide training in the US, but I was attending a program that would be compatible with some of the programs that they use in Europe and in the UK. And my goal was to curate and lead or assist lead hikes and backpacking trips, actually. But I just kind of got sidelined on everything, and now I really have to brush up on my skills again. I think if I was going to offer any backpacking courses, I think I'm a little bit rusty. I actually went on my first backpacking trip in 3 years this past summer. There was a medical issue that happened to me on a backpacking trip a few years ago where I didn't, where it scared me. So I didn't go backpacking for 3 years, I think, because I was a little bit afraid of that. So I definitely need to brush up a bit more on my skills, and I'm hoping that I can even drop in a little bit this winter and do a bit more of that, just to have everything sort of come back to me. But thank you for your interest in that, and maybe that's something that I'll do in the future. Because it is still a passion of mine, and getting that reignited this summer was just so fun. And of course, I wanna hit the Pacific Crest Trail at some point, and getting well practiced on that is not a bad idea. um, okay, cool. So yeah, I am in. I'm so glad you're okay. I started watching you for your hiking. You inspired me to get out and hike alone with confidence. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad I could be an inspiration to you. Yeah, a lot of what inspires me to have a channel and why I want to share things is that I hope to inspire other people, because I don't think that there's anything particularly special about me. And so I'm like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Yeah, so that's kind of why I like to share. Mary Ann, if you are in the Reno area this winter, look me up. We can do some snow camping. Oh yeah, that would be fun. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, Mary Ann. Yeah, I haven't done that in a long time. Do you follow Wendy Wildlife Adventures in BC, Canada? Not sure if that's the exact channel name. No, I've never heard of her. Yeah, I can look that up later though, if that's something you think would be interesting. If it's a channel you're recommending, then definitely I would like to check that out. Yeah, so I am escaping some of the snow that we have in Utah right now. Where do you go during these winter months? Yeah, I'm gonna be going to California for a bit. This time of year, I typically do my rounds, as I say, and visit my family that's kind of spread out through central Utah to Southern California, Central California. And I like to spend some time with my family and my best friend in those places. So I have some exciting things coming up with them. Also, there's definitely some places in Southern California that I want to revisit. I've done a lot of exploring there, as it used to be my home base for many years, but I'd like to revisit some of those locations. And then it's kind of a shame that I haven't been able to spend very much time in Southern Utah, so I might be headed back to Southern Utah for a bit. It's just like really all weather dependent, but it's been pretty mild this fall in terms of cold temperatures. So as long as it stays relatively mild, I mean, I have pretty good cold tolerance, so even below freezing, since I don't need a vehicle that's winterized, is okay with me. But when it starts dropping into the teens, it's highly uncomfortable, and I don't want anything to do with it anymore. So times like that, it might be pertinent to go down to southern Arizona. I know northern Arizona is still at a pretty high elevation, so it just snowed at the Grand Canyon, I heard today. So it didn't snow today. I heard today that it just snowed a couple of days ago in the Grand Canyon. So. Yeah, so that's kind of my plan, at least for the beginning of winter. And then if I determine that I don't need to go and grab a seasonal job at a ski resort or anything like that, I'll probably head back east a bit. For the past many years, I have not been east of Colorado. Oh, well, let's see, I think I was in Nebraska for about 5 seconds last fall. And then in 2021, I was in New Jersey for my backpacking course, but I haven't spent any time in the Southeast, and I think that's a good place to be during the winter months. Of course, we know lots of van lifers like to go to Florida, and that's something that I have not experienced, so I would definitely be open to that, and I think that would be part of my winter journey. What YouTube channels do you recommend? I can say earlier I was watching Roaming Reckless. I think I've really been enjoying her content recently. Also, Catherine Gregory, who's my aunt, she put out a great backpacking video today if you like that kind of stuff. Um, who else do I watch? My mind always goes blank when people ask that. Let me pull it up right now. Let's see, who else do we got here? Becca Y. I recently started watching her because I got introduced through Roaming Reckless. I like Nomadic Introvert. She also is living out of a Subaru Forester right now. Yeah, so I'd like to hear more about what you recommend. You need to come to Arkansas. Arkansas is beautiful, especially if I'd love to go to Arkansas. And actually, the book I'm reading right now is, at least right now, he's talking about the Washita area of Arkansas. And it sounds incredible. So I would definitely love to check that out. Is that a guitar? Yeah, it's a guitar. It's not my guitar though. I think that's my dad's guitar. Yeah, I don't play guitar, but I wish I did. That would be a fun thing to do around a campfire. Oh my goodness, I love Catherine. Yeah, me too. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking will happen this winter if I'm able to make that happen, and my Nespresso will be on board for that trip, which will keep me sufficiently caffeinated, I suppose. I watched you and your Aunt Catherine do a crazy hike a couple years ago. I can't remember exactly where. The most intense hike that she's ever done, and one of the most intense hikes I've ever done. The most intense hike she and I have ever done together, and one of the most intense hikes I have ever done, period, was the Grand Canyon. We did the Escalante route in the Grand Canyon, and that's probably what you're remembering because that hike was gnarly. Regardless is right. Okay. Yeah, Linnea and Akila, I really enjoy her work as well. She's very poetic and thoughtful about, and just a fantastic cinematographer. So that's a good one too. Wouldn't know, you've never done a live before. You're doing amazing. Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm talking maybe a little bit too fast and a little bit chaotic, but thank you for the reassurance. Yeah, so right now, that's kind of my plan for movement, and people have been asking me, because I've been getting more traction on my video where I shared that I wasn't going to be living in the employee housing. They assume that I'm living off government assistance or something like that because I'm living in my car. But no, I do work. I have been working. In addition to that, also YouTube is a job. So I've really been working a full-time and a part-time job for most of the year, for the past several years. And so with the money that I've saved from doing that, it's gonna help me be able to take hopefully some time off to really focus on, and I've shared this in recent videos, but my fitness goals, so that I can get prepared for bigger trips and backpacking and hiking, things that I really have in my heart that I very much want to do. And I just haven't been taking care of myself in the way that I need to do that. And with the kind of life I lead, nomadic, it's super hard to build in routine. And especially for me, I go from living in the car for like a month while I'm driving to my next work destination, and then I go there and I move into housing, into one or two different housing units during a course of a work season. And I'm meeting a whole bunch of new people, and I'm learning a new job, and I'm maybe eating dining room food, or like I have limited resources to make my own food. And so it sounds like a lot of excuses, but also I'm a human, and it's super, super challenging to try to balance that and prioritize taking care of myself when I'm trying to do my very best for usually both my team and my employers. And so I just want to take some time and prioritize myself and follow my passion of travel while doing that, and share that journey with all of you guys along the way. This is awesome. Thank you. I think if you keep making videos, you can make a living. Your photography is amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think I can do it too. And I think that I feel very passionate about doing it right now, and I'm really excited to be making the videos. And like I said, when I make videos while I'm traveling, I don't feel like I'm traveling by myself. I really feel like my viewers and my audience is with me, and then I have somebody to share those experiences with. And then what's so great about it is I can look back on those experiences and relive them as well. So yeah, I hope I can make it work, and I'm gonna try to do that. So I appreciate your encouragement with that. Is there a particular video that explains why you decided living in the car? I don't know that I have a video dedicated specifically to that. The story is kind of emotional and a little bit complicated, but it's probably a gap in the narrative that I need to fill out for some people. And yeah, it's probably about time that I dedicate a video to explaining that. So that's a fantastic idea. Thank you for that. Would you make your hair more blonde? I think it would fit you. My hair was blonder, but then it started breaking off all the time. So I prefer to have my hair long than I do to have it blonder. I hope you keep us in your spirit. You're very dedicated and inspiring. It's like being on an adventure with a tour guide who's also exploring the same time. I love it. Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I want you to feel. So I'm so glad it's effective. How many hours do you find comfortable driving per day, and do you get very lonely or enjoy the quiet time more? I would say the maximum number of hours I will drive per day is 10. However, when I was driving the Alaska-Canada Highway up to Alaska, I did end up driving more hours than that, but those are like on roads where there's almost no one there. And during the time of the year that I was doing it, it was like just snow on the side of the road, so there's really nothing else for me to do but drive, unless I wanted to stop and hang out in the snow, which I didn't. So, but in general, I try to stay under 8. So I can go up to 10, but I try to stay under 8. And lately I've been trying to do way, way less. And if I am traveling full time this winter, I want it to be like very minimal driving per day, because I want to be out there moving my body. I want to be exploring local areas and really just be moving slow and seeing all the beautiful sights this country has to offer. So. And do I get lonely, or do I get lonely driving? I never really get lonely driving. I'm terrible at driving with anyone else in the car. I get so distracted by chatting away like this right now that I'll miss all the turns, all the exits. I'm practically useless. I'm a much better navigator, but not that much better. I'm really a hazard to have in the car with somebody else. It's much better for me to be in the car by myself. And I listen to music. I listen to podcasts. I'll even, I love listening to podcasts. And I've started recently listening to, like, gonna sound old right now, but books on tape. I don't know, like audiobooks. Okay, that's the word, audiobooks. And I've started listening to those while hiking and backpacking too, and that's a great way to like feel engaged in something. So I've enjoyed that. Have you ever thought about going to the Great Lakes? I have. I've seen some cool content of that area recently. I lived in Chicago for a little bit in my mid-20s, but I know that's not the area you're referring to. And I also have visited Grand Rapids, Michigan for a wedding before, and it was really beautiful. It took me away. So there are definitely parts of this country, including that area, that I have not explored very much, and I definitely should broaden my horizons and do a bit more of that. I have heard that as you travel east, finding free campgrounds is more challenging. But I am also getting much more comfortable staying at rest stops, and I stayed at a Cabela's and I stealth camped recently. Those videos are not up yet, but they're coming. So kind of staying at different kinds of places is getting to feel a little bit more comfortable for me. So yeah, I might be able to head east. um, I will let you know when I come to Arkansas, Chris. Your videos are great. Thank you, Michelle. Chasing Dreams and Adventures. Hi from Seattle. Love your videos. Ah, Seattle. Yeah. I was in Washington for the last 2 summers. No need to explain reason for living in car. Okay, thanks. 10 is a lot of hours driving. It is. I definitely break it up and take breaks. And if it was intense driving, I wouldn't be able to do it. But when it's just like kind of an open road, it's much easier to handle that. Roaming Reckless is also fun to watch. I like Chantel from My Basic Journey. Yeah, I think it was Chantel from My Basic Journey that I saw. She was in like the Upper Peninsula recently, and I was watching that. It seems pretty cool. I enjoy her content. I am here in Ocean Park, Washington with my service pup Hannah for another month or so. You're always welcome to boondock on the private ocean lot I have rented. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I'm actually not in Washington anymore though. So I'll explain in my next video why I stayed in Washington for so long, but after my work contract ended there, I didn't have any reason to be there except for this one reason that ended up falling through, but I'm not going to give that spoiler away right now. But yeah, I'm actually in Utah now. It's definitely getting a bit late in the year for me to be living in my car that far north, I think. Although I want to say the coldest night I've ever spent in my car was like -12, -12 degrees. I know I spent one really, really cold night in central Utah in 2021. It was January 2021 in the San Rafael Swell, and I think that's as cold as it got. I think there was one other time that kind of challenges that, and that might have been last October, but I can't remember the exact temperature. But yeah, spent some pretty cold nights in the Subaru. Oh, thank you, Michelle. That's so nice of you. Tony, you said you've been on the road for 5 years now. What about relationships, having a partner? Don't you feel like being young, perhaps you're kind of wasting those years in your life away? So something about me is I was in a 14-year relationship, and half of that time I was married. So at this point, I don't feel like I'm wasting my life away for not being in a relationship. Unfortunately, due to a multitude of kind of tragic reasons, that relationship didn't work out. And now I'm on to plan B, and I'm working on making that as fantastic as it can be. Yeah, so I meet a ton of people, and I am living a life I could have only dreamt of before. Hello, Sky Blue Sound, DJ Prado. How you doing? Sunrise Skies, hi. Love Catherine's videos. That's how I discovered you. I love your patient voice. You're so calm. Do you have any particular day you post? So right now and throughout the month of throughout the remaining month of October, I'm posting on Sunday mornings and then on Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoons. So I am trying to stay consistent with that and getting up 3 videos a week. And it is my plan to stick with that through November, and then December, hopefully some more exciting things will happen. But Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday are my posting days right now. Thank you for asking. Thank you, No Name. That's very nice. Yeah, I hope I can continue to inspire people, and it is my plan to continue to share content. All right. Oh, it looks like there's no questions right now. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Oh, some people have been asking me, what will I do when my car dies? I'll get a new vehicle. Also, though, I want to point out, and I want to say this for anyone that doesn't have a car, like, I don't know that that's anyone that's watching right now, but people that maybe are unhoused and move into a vehicle or don't have the option to have a vehicle to move into, I know plenty of people who do seasonal work that typically out of choice don't have a vehicle just because the type of work that they do and the type of travel that they do. So I have taken to the road several times between my seasonal jobs, but I've also traveled internationally. There was a time that I spent my time between my seasonal jobs traveling throughout Europe for a couple months. There was a time that I went to Central and South America for a season, and obviously was not touching my car during that time. And in order to get to and from the contract at a seasonal job location, you can often fly and they'll shuttle you to your work location. And then once you're on site, they are going to make sure that where you're living allows you to get to work without the use of your personal vehicle. So I just wanted to put that out there because, I mean, I could go work on a cruise ship, or I could go work at any of these places like live-in ski resorts or national parks and things like that where I don't need to have a car. That is not my plan to put myself in that position. So I do save money and I try to be responsible in that way. I am taking a little bit of risk right now and hoping to take the winter off, but also, I've been on YouTube since 2016 and I am able to generate some income through that. So, my plan is when my car dies, then I'll think about what it is I really want. If I want to move into a van at that point, or if I want to get a truck or some type of vehicle that has a towing capacity, maybe a truck and put a truck camper on it, and then later on down the line buy a trailer, or maybe like 4Runner would be great because they do have a towing capacity too, but they're a little bit bigger inside, or just like a bigger SUV like that could be nice. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and I'll follow my heart when that time comes. I enjoy your cooking content. Never heard of oatmeal waffles. I'm laughing because I feel like my cooking content is actually a joke at this point. So maybe that's what you enjoy about it. I mean, I messed up the oatmeal waffles. I really wanted to make some sort of like crumble, I think, that went on top of the apple crisp, and I just put almost no effort into it. And that's where I run into problems, is I'm putting, I think, so much of my time, energy, and focus into other components of my day-to-day life and travel and creating content that I'm like, no, I should be able to just throw this together when I get behind the stove, and it just doesn't happen. I mean, I ate grilled cheese for dinner last night and I had to make it twice because I burnt it the first time. Like, I need to get better on that. I need to get better because I'm making my life slightly miserable in that way, that I've been just eating a lot of tuna sandwiches. Similar to military, is that how it is with military too? Probably with not needing to have a car. Um, do you mind sharing where you find seasonal opportunities? Not at all. So primarily I found all of my seasonal jobs through a website called coolworks.com, COOLWORKS.com. And they have it sorted by season, or there's all sorts of different filters that you can look on there. But I I have always used that as a jumping off point, and then from there I can see, oh, this company in general is hiring. So I kind of have gone to the company websites and seen what details they have there, what other positions they might have open, and so that's been really effective for me. And I think that's pretty much how everyone I know in seasonal work ends up finding theirs too. There is another website called Vega Jobs or Vaga Jobs. I think it's VAGAJOBS.com. And every now and then I'll pop in and look at that, but Coolworks is really my go-to. And hiring timeframes on that, it's important to talk about, is going to be the middle of kind of each season. So January is when postings and some hiring is going to start happening for the summer months, and then July and early August is really when you're going to want to get in for the winter months. Some winter jobs are going to start in November, some are going to start in December. Just depends on what region you're going to and what role you have. And then summer jobs are going to start anywhere between April and June. So there's a wide window there, but they're usually going to wrap up in September or early October. Yeah, so that's kind of what it is to look at, and just always ask a ton of questions. There are also some Facebook groups dedicated to that kind of thing too, that I would recommend joining if you're on Facebook, so if you want to kind of learn what's going on or learn the dirt about certain locations before you dive in and travel there. But I mean, honestly, it's been an awesome experience doing seasonal work. Check out government deals for used vans. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that. Tone, you wish you were still living in your car. Yeah, I mean, there's a great freedom that comes with it. And honestly, I'm super comfortable in my car. I think people are inclined to not really believe that, but I really am. And yeah, I really enjoy it. My cooking is bad too. Great. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think we need to try harder. I never cook. I always get packaged food living in my van. I love how you cook. I'm trying. I'll be honest, the past week or so I've given up a little bit on the cooking, except for the tragic grilled cheese incident. And I've been eating out a bit more, but it's just so expensive and it's not great for me. So I need to dedicate my time and find at least a few recipes that I can reliably make. And I think it just comes down to practice, to be honest. Sorry I missed you this year at Mount Rainier. Oh, hi, Lori. Yeah, I remember meeting you last year. Favorite location, Michelle. Favorite location. I don't have one. I think some of the most beautiful places I've been, one of the reasons why I went to Mount Rainier for 2 summers in a row is I think that's one of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen. And to me, something that's very captivating about a glaciated peak like that, a very prominent glaciated peak. And I remember I had the same reaction when I was in Chamonix, France, and was looking at Mont Blanc. I'm like, whoa. And I had just gone there from some beautiful areas in Switzerland and the Dolomites and northern Italy. But when I saw Chamonix or Mont Blanc from Chamonix, I was blown away. And if it was easier to get a job in France, I would probably try to pick up a seasonal gig at one of the chateaus they have there and get a job there. But it's kind of a challenging process. Chantel's good at finding places to stay. Yeah, I've only seen a few of her videos so far, but I'm sure I'll check out more of her stuff. But also, I guess with locations, I also really love the desert, and I look forward to spending some time in the desert. There's a certain sort of like magical aura I feel in the desert. And even just looking at the desert landscapes or wandering around camp, I find myself wandering off into the desert a little bit more. It's just like so captivating and appealing. So I definitely look forward to spending some more time in the desert this winter. All right, so we're about 48 minutes in. I think I'm gonna stay on the live for about another 12 minutes. So if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. I'm loving this conversation that we're having. Loves pilot truck stops for overnight stays when traveling. Oh, you love going to the beach? Yeah, I love the beach too. Yeah, I've never stayed at a Love's, actually. Now, when you stay at a Love's, Michelle, do you have to ask permission, or is it just given that you can stay there? That would probably be helpful for me to know. Bye, Chris. No, you don't have to ask permission. Scott, a static camper van, is also very good at finding places to stay overnight. Yeah, I feel like he does a good job of that too. He's mostly like in towns and cities, so that can be a bit more challenging, I have found. Yeah, when I'm in city areas, I usually look for like the nearest rest stop and stay there, but sometimes that's like 30 minutes of driving each way. So yeah, it's nice that they're feeling comfortable doing that. I really don't spend a whole lot of time in towns or cities, but I definitely have town days that are required from time to time. And then I also enjoy traveling in towns and cities. I'm not somebody that doesn't want to be around people at all, or I just only am interested in like outdoors or wilderness. Like I enjoy the history of cities and the culture and just like that feeling of being in cities from time to time. And I think it's good for me to like stay in the loop with that a little bit so that it doesn't become too scary for me to try to do. No, Lori, I'm not going to be going back to Mount Rainier next summer. And that was a decision that I made even before I went back this summer. So it's not necessarily reflective of my experience there, although it was very frustrating with the housing. At least they owned it, or some of the people owned the mistake with that, and they compensated me appropriately for that. So it's not reflective of that. But it's more that although I love Mount Rainier, with this past summer, I did everything there that I kind of wanted to do within reason. I would definitely love to be in a position where I could do an expedition summit, but that was not going to happen, nor will that probably happen next summer. So I think I've bid that place farewell for the time being. There's just so many other places that I want to explore, and I think I'm ready to move on from that. Yeah. Yeah, sleeping in your Subaru is definitely more affordable than motels. And if you have it set up properly, it's actually really, can be really comfortable. I remember when I first started sleeping in my Subaru, I didn't have anything back there that was special. I just had my sleeping bag and a sleeping pad. And I tried to sleep in it, and it was actually awful. And it was so uncomfortable, but it still kind of worked. But the way I have it set up now, it's so comfortable, honestly. Even when it's really cold outside, it can stay quite toasty warm. Have a wonderful, thank you, Michelle, you too. Have a good one. Bye, Deja. You'll be enjoying the adventure. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Joanne. I travel from Wyoming to Florida sometimes and stay in my car, so I like to watch other travelers to see where they stay. Yeah, that's really helpful. Sunrise Skies, I have 7 months till I retire, and I'm already preparing for my journey. That's why I enjoy the cooking. I have a feeling I'll relate. Haha. Have a great week. Thank you, you too. Appreciate you being here. And enjoy your retirement, but hopefully I see you around. Ron, how can you stay cool, warm while sleeping in your car? Ron, it's way harder to try to stay cool than it is to stay warm. So I will definitely prioritize geographic regions where the temperatures are cooler than they are where they're too warm. Also personal preference, but my cold tolerance is significantly greater than my heat tolerance. I'm highly prone to heat stroke or heat illnesses. And so I can always layer up and make sure that I'm trying to block out any of cold air that's coming into the car while my body heat is warming it up in there. But yeah, it's super hard with heat. I am so how I stay warm is I approach it as if staying in my car is just like staying in a tent, as if I was outside. So I'm going to start with what I'm wearing, base layers. I'm going to try to stay hydrated. I'm going to just do all those things to take care of myself. When I'm getting into bed, I'm trying not to be cold when I'm getting into bed. So if that means like doing some movement or something like that, making sure I'm going to stay warm with that. But yeah, that is kind of a partial answer, but I'm gonna try to start wrapping some stuff up here. And Lori, yes, there is the Wonderland Trail. Yes, there is. And thank you, Alarmed Bretty. I will keep my head up and be safe out there. So, yeah, I thank you all so much for being here with me, and I'm gonna try to start doing this a little bit more regularly. just because it's a fun way that we can connect. But I hope you enjoyed it, and if I can find a time that's consistently gonna work for doing this, with being on the road and stuff like that, I'm gonna try to start publishing that information a little bit earlier. But I thank you for showing up, and I think we missed out on some people because maybe on the East Coast it's pretty late right now. So thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I really appreciate that. Be safe. See you on the road. All right. Sounds good. Thanks. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chasing Dreams. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Again, thank you so much to Michelle for the super chat, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Take care. Bye. Oh. I don't know if the next live is next. Actually, the next live is not next Sunday because I'm not going to be in the country. But I'll keep you guys posted on when the next one is going to be when I have that figured out. Thanks for asking, Marianne. But I'm going to take off now. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.